Hello everyone, this is Angela Robinson from UAT Game Engine Programming class, here to show you my Milestone 5, our final project for this class. So th this week we actually worked on settings, which some of them actually show better on the build. So I am going to go ahead and start this build here. And as you can hear, I've got music um, for the main menu here. I've got play, settings, quit. I've got a title here. So if I were to hit the settings here, I've got a master volume. It goes down. Sound volume, which works more for sound effects in the game. I can show you that inside the game. And then this is the music volume. So I've got it down pretty low right now, even though the this music for the menu is pretty quiet. The one for the game actually is pretty loud. So I'm gonna see if I were to hit accept here, bring settings back up, it actually shows where I've kept it. Okay, I've also got quality at very low, which is defaults, medium, um, and then the resolution here. Let's pick a really small one. So there, as you can see, the resolution is changing. My default is the 1920 by 1080. I've also got full screen there. Whenever you hit accept, it goes between full screen and there we go. And of course the quit from the application. So wanted to show you that. And let's play again just so you can see the play button. So and as you could hear there, the music is a little bit louder in the game, so I'm going to take the music down a little bit. Resume. It's a little bit better there. I go through. That was very loud. That would be the sound. I'm sorry for your ears. Let's see if that's better. So that's a little bit better. I do apologize for that loudness there. But there we go. All right. So just so that that doesn't overbear me, I'm going to show you a little bit. I did, as you can probably see from my previous milestones, I fixed the enemy health bars. They're a lot nicer, smaller now, and they still drop items. That is an XP. There, I still have pickups here, have items that I can, and have targets still here. And as you can see, when I'm shooting, there are particle effects for the flashbang. With my regular rifle, it's red. With my shotgun, it's white. I did it that way because the trailers are the opposite. For my rifle, the trailer is white on the bullet, and the shotgun is red on the bullet. So, and I just died. I've got 3 lives here, so I should respawn. Unfortunately, I spawned pretty close to my respawn point, so they're probably going to bombard me here when I respawn. There we go. So, and so, and then I'm going to go ahead and Actually, let's see if I can die a couple more times here to show you. Oh, okay. Down to one life left here. And wait for a moment. It should respawn. There we go. And they're all coming after me. I'm going to deliberately take some damage here on my pickups. And and there we go. So, and here is my end game. So I'm going to put in my name, hit OK, show my score. Because there's not been any top scores in my build yet. It's not showing any other top scores, but it is showing mine. So I'm going to quit here, and that should save. And quit the game. Save my preferences and quit the game. So it's being a little finicky here on quitting. Okay, and my computer's being a little slow, so I'm going to pause this real quick and, oh, never mind, there it is. Okay, so there we go. So here it is in Unity. Here's my main scene, my start scene with, I made a prefab of the settings panel so that it will save between the main scene, start scene, and the game. So let's take a look at the code here for this a little bit. So I've got my UI components for my slider, my audio mixer, and this is an animation curve that I used for normalizing or connecting the slider with the decibels volume. And then these are my visual resolution, my quality, whether it's full screen or not, my accept button and back button. And this is just a private list of resolutions here. So I'm setting defaults with each one. I have the audio mixer in my resources folder. Actually, I added a resources folder on this one so that I could load via resources, and that's what this is. And I have to put the, when it goes resources, it automatically defaults to the application, you know, default folder, which is assets, and then I have to tell it where it's at after assets, which is audio and audio mixer, or after it goes to assets and then resources and then audio and audio mixer. So as you can see, that's what I have here is assets, resources, audio, and then I have my audio mixer here. And let me double click this and bring it in so I can show you a little bit about this here on how it moves in here once we get to that. And then here I am finding the sliders and the drop down and the toggle and the buttons based off of the child. So the children on this, the prefab, because I have this script on the prefab parent. So I'm calling the parent transform and then doing a find for the find child and then finding by the name. The drawback on this is that if if developers or designers actually go in and change the name of these, you would have to change them in the code as well. So I know that there's, but a better way would probably do it would be to create um, tags and find it by a tag. Um, but I chose it to do it this way for now. And this is how I get the resolutions. So resolutions, Unity pulls the resolutions from your computer. So all I needed to do was do screen.resolutions and put them to list since I made it a list up here. That's how I populate that. And then in the drop down, so I cleared all the options that are in there before. It usually defaults to option A, option B, option C in there. So I just make sure that if anything is in there, I'm clearing it first. And then I am creating a kind of a duplicate list of the resolutions here. So I'm going to be going through all of the original list here and then putting it into a more text-friendly version into the list. So, and then adding it to this string list instead of resolution list. And because if I didn't do this, it would do like 800 by 600 at 800 by 600, etc., etc. It has a really long name. So this is just like a good, you know, text visualization for it. And then once I get done getting the text format that I want, I will add that string list to the options of the drop down, and that populates it. Um, so, and on the quality, I'm doing the same thing here. I'm just getting the quality settings that is in Unity. So the clear options clears the options at first, and then then I'm just adding the quality setting names to that list and that drop down. And then here I am in this wake. I am doing I am getting the player preferences master volume with a default of the max value. If there is not this key in the player prefs already, it will automatically just put it at max value. Same thing with the sound and the music. And then right after I'm getting it from the player prefs and attaching that to the value of um, that slider, I am sending that value to the audio mixer. Now, this right here, the volume to decibel evaluate is um, a method that you call on the animation curve. And then on the enable, I am just making sure um, that the current option set for the resolution is showing, and then um, making sure that it stays the same like for whenever on enable, so that whenever I pull it up into the game instead of the main menu, it actually shows from the player preference what it is, and it shows in the mixer as well. And this just checks to see if the screen is on full screen for that, and this also checks the quality value. So I do have the accept button on interactable set to false when it first comes up, because it will not become available until you actually change things. So which is this right here. When we accept, we are saving our player preference values from the sliders and in the drop downs and the toggle. And then on here, I just had this for testing purposes. I do not have this linked in the build, but I did have this if you are in the editor and you want to test this. all you would need to do is connect this um, pro, or this method to the toggle for full screen, and it will actually um, show it working and maximize and demaximize within the unit the editor when you're playing it in the other. And these are just real-time methods for the volume changing. In here, let's turn this on a little bit. So I do have some on-click events here. So this is where I am setting the accept button to be active or you know deactivated. So well, actually this is that I am deactivating the whole settings panel so that when I hit accept, it takes away the settings panel. The back button does the same thing. It takes away the settings panel, but just doesn't say change any of the settings that you had. And then on the sliders here, I have when any of them are values are changed as far as also on the resolution and the full screen and the quality. On all of their value changed, I have the accept button becoming interactable. So, and you saw that, probably saw that whenever I was showing you the settings before. And as you can see, my drop downs do have default option A, B, and C, and you did not see that in there. So that's what the clear options does. And for the animation curve, I wanted to show you this. This was something that I had trouble with because when I initially went through the lecture, I did not notice that the animation curve the lecture was showing an example of was not the full amount, the full decibel amount on your audio mixer. So like, if you see here, I actually changed it defaults to negative 80 dB all the way up to positive 20 here. Okay, but for my settings to work and where it seemed like it was like going completely quiet at around 40 negative 40 decibels. So I changed the bottom value to be 40 decibels. And so to equivalent to that in my animation curve, I set the keys to negative 40 and to 20. When you originally make a curve, it defaults to 0 and 1, and I just left it at that and realized that it seemed like the connection wasn't working when it actually was. I took a break from the project and came back and saw that the mixer was actually working. So let me show you in here how it is actually connected. And it's going to, because I had it activated over here, it's going to show this already. But if you see down here, it automatically shows where I have these here. So let's do, if I do the music volume, and notice it doesn't go all the way to negative 80 because that's because I put the negative 40 in the audio mixer threshold volume there. So that's the music, and then the sound does the same thing, and the master volume. Okay, so as you can see, it does work there, so that's pretty good. And normally I would have that disabled when I start that, but okay. So that is the settings manual showing the volume control, and let's see, then the audio triggered for the actual audio here. So I believe, let's take a look first of all. Let's see, where is my, I have my audio source on my main menu. I have my audio source here um, on my canvas because the main menu is just the canvas. It's nothing else. So I just have my audio source coming from that. I automatically have it set for the audio clip to be my menu music, and I have it to play on awake. That's why you hear it immediately after you start the game. Now in the main scene, um, I have the play one shot for the projectile weapons for the shooting. So here I have, let's see, I downloaded all of my audio, so I actually have this in external. I got them at Free Sound here, and and you can listen to it there. So, um, so here I believe, yes, I put my audio source on my game manager. As you can see, I don't have the audio clip automatically put in. I do have the output for the audio mixer though here. But in my game manager, in my on pause, on resume, I do have a events here to actually stop the audio source from playing the current loop, and then I add a new clip to it. If it's on pause, I'm going to be adding my game music, um, and or uh, my menu music. If it's on resume, I'm going to add my game music to it, and then once I change that clip, I'm playing it. So that's what I'm doing in the inspector here, and in code um, on my prefabs here, my projectile weapon, I have a variable called shot sound, which this is the main, just the audio clip. Um, so let me find it here. Oh, I believe I have it on actual because I figure all weapons are going to have an audio clip, shops. So here's my shot sound here. And then I also have see, in the projectile weapon, whenever I pull the trigger, after instantiating everything, I am pulling the trigger if there is an audio source to it. If there's a clip and an audio source, I'm going to tell it to play the shot sound that's on here. So that is the play on shot, play one shot. So then I already showed you a little bit of the particle effects. The muzzle flashes, I have the two different muzzle flashes, and all it is I put in a variable for the muzzle flash. It's so much easier just to see it on here, I believe. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. I do apologize. There it is, the muzzle flashes. On here I have three because I actually have three barrels on my shotgun. On here, I only have the one muzzle flash here. So it is a particle effect. So here's my particle effect here. I downloaded some materials from the asset store. Um, so and utilized the materials for that and added that to the renderer here. And kind of the rest of these settings are based off of the lecture. So I just used the default color. I made it go, completely invisible towards the end of the lifetime. The lifetime is only 0.05 seconds though, so very quick. And whenever I pull the trigger, it just all I have to do is just tell it to admit. And how I actually put it on there, I will show you this here in my open prefab. All I did is at my fire shot here, I take this, I put it as a child of where I'm, because the fire spot, what I have labeled as fire spot, is actually where I instantiate the bullets out of. So I just put it the flash as a child to that spot, so I knew that it was at the same spot, with the position at 000, and that way it just always does it at the fire shot. And with my shotgun with the 3 barrels, I have 3 different shots here. So and they're at the end of each barrel there. So and let's take a look at playing this. Let's get my scenes. Go back to the start menu and show you. I'm just gonna show you the stats here. Start menu, there's not much to it. As you can see, I'm going to like 1400, 1500 frames per second. That's awesome. Awesome. And then I start playing, and of course it goes down. And as enemies start coming back up, it will go. Wow, okay. There we go. Just kind of waiting for my enemies to respawn. I've allowed a few seconds here. It's probably a little too long. I can adjust that at a later date, but I've set it at 20 seconds of the character just kind of getting used to the environment of walking around, see if they can figure out before enemies start ambushing them. Like I said, that may be a little too long. Maybe maybe 10 seconds would be better or not. But and of course I've got the targets here that you can shoot, but as you can see, it's such a small game. It runs at high frames per second, really easy. So, and there we go. So portfolio and presentation. So I am currently in the middle of moving my website from Google Sites over to WordPress, but so it's very minimal that you see here, but this is actually my homepage here. I've got my recent project. This is my SIP that I'm don't have everything on it in that page just yet, but and this is our game here, Fighting Against AI. You can access it either by clicking here, and you can see I have a little bit of information here. I've got a place for visitors to leave replies on what they say. I've got a video showing here of my my playlist. It's actually my playlist from here. That's so this playlist right here. That is a link to that, and this link right here is to my GitHub. When I click on it, it takes you to here, takes me to my latest release, and here is where you can download the zip file. So it's actually, there's no installation process or anything. It's just once you unzip it, it's there, much like a lot of free source applications are. So but this right here is just the just these files right here, minus the title image page. Sorry, but it is just these files. It's the data and the exe that you need. Of course, the source code, .zip for Windows, tar for Linux, Mac, and that Git actually automatically added the zip folders for the source code. That's great, but that is just from my actual repo. So, and here we go. That's where that is. Well, I I do hope you enjoyed, and thank you very much.